Hi, IVS Solutions में आपका एक बार फिर से स्वागत है and this time around we have the Gaba family who has been with us for more than 4 years now. Thank you so much for joining us, guys.
Thank you so much.
So let me introduce, that's Jia and that's her wonderful daughters Panaya and Vipra.
Hello.
Hi.
Jia, let's start from the beginning, right? What was the reason where you said, you know what, I have school counselors, but I need a counselor from the outside. I don't think this is enough.
You know, you want them an exposure which is good for them, or suggestions that are not biased to, because we have tie ups here, or we have this, or we are going to sell this.
Elaborate tie-ups as in?
Sometimes they do have, right? Like, okay, the school may be having a tie up with a particular place or something. So that is where.
You placed by, you mean universities and the, okay.
So, and you want your child to get a better exposure, right? Because, and see, okay, when your child knows, okay, I want to do this only, then it's a very clear thing. Yes, I will do this. I'm going to get here. I'm going to study this. I want to become this, right? But when they are trying to explore themselves, you want to give them that much exposure where they can, explore, understand, and during our times it was much easy, where it was commerce, science, arts, and done, right? You pick up one stream, you're stuck to that stream. At the max, if you're a science student, you still go to commerce, and commerce arts, you cannot go back. Now, with the amount of options they have, the same way, the confusion is also higher, right? Today they want to be an astronaut, tomorrow they want to be an architect, day after is a doctor, after that is this, after that is that. And I think it's a good thing also in a way that they can explore it and then they can decide really where the heart is.
So, when you spoke to us, what did you find different in comparison to others that you were?
See, I was going to a counselor. In fact, I was at a verge of just, paying up and fixing her up, okay? But what I found, I went for a few meetings. What I found, oh, I don't like numbers. Chhod do. We will find a university which does not require math. Oh, I don't like this subject. Chhod do. We will find a university jo will take you. Now, everything in life is not chhod do, right? There are so many times in reality when as we grow up, there are situations that you don't want to be in, but you have to face it head on, and sometimes you realize, wow, I came out beautifully out of it. Now, if they will learn chhod do, we will find a solution for it. From how and from where will they learn that sometimes you have to fight and get things out. So I was on the verge of paying somebody, and then my friend told me that my daughter is with him and just consult him one, and I had a word with you. Now, honestly, your approach was, oh no, we need to try. Oh no, we need to try. And that is what you want. We need to try in order to know whether we really lack that ability or we are just trying to escape it.
I want to bring Panaya at this point of time in because she is our favorite student, and I'll tell you why. Because she is the most rebel as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
I know we all wanted to try for better universities, and the first thing was when it came to me, I was like, let's try to get maths back into the picture. She hated maths,
Still do.
still do. So, Panaya, were you also open to another or a counselor who was not in line with what you wanted to say at that point of time?
I wanted anybody who was telling me what you're doing is right. At that time, I was like, my grades weren't very nice. Okay, I was very good in English, very good in business. Rest everything mediocre, basic, just passing.
Which is fine to be honest, yeah.
And I always knew I wanted to specialize in business since my 8th standard. I knew that is what I wanted to do, and I knew when I have to do accounts, I will hire an accountant. I knew that. So whenever people would tell me, you have to do accounts, you have to do accounts, you have to do maths, I was like, I don't. I really, really don't. But in the end, I still have to do it. So,
And of course, we'll come to that. Why were you so against maths? Because
I
purely
really-
because the numbers were not
Yeah,
good, or you did not
I
understand?
don't understand. I have business maths in college right now, I like it when I understand, okay, for a loan you apply like this is the EMI, this is the interest, this is why you need it. I like it when it comes to investing, when I have to understand numbers. When you tell me do algebra, do quadratic functions, why?
Yeah, fair enough. And I understand that some of the subjects are not a part of our day-to-day lives.
Yeah,
I agree with
I
that.
need to see the practical use when I'm studying maths, otherwise I don't enjoy it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Right. And this was the same thing when you were saying about accounts
Yeah.
also, right?
Yeah.
But let me tell everyone that now you are really looking forward to learning more about
Of cost
accounts.
accounting,
and
not fundamentals of accounting.
So see, this is again, it's like there are some sections that you will like and there are some sections that you will not like.
Completely agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can't leave
It's
out the
better
whole
than
thing.
not doing it at all. I agree, 100%.
right.
I'm
So-
very grateful for that push. I wouldn't have done it alone.
Right? But during that time, right, now if you have to tell the same Panaya who was in 11th at that point of time, what different would you tell her?
See, that 11th standard Panaya had completely different mindset. She didn't know, like, she knew where she was going to study and all of that. And a lot happened since then.
Of course.
If I had to tell her something, it would be don't stress so much, just have fun. You only live once. I would really tell her that. She was a big stressor.
Yeah, and I think that's with almost every kid. I will come to Vipra also when it comes to taking stress and thinking too much about.
But don't have so much fun that you like forget your goals.
No. So there is a very thin line, I agree. But at the same point of time, where do you think that having the right courses and paying enough attention, see, I understand not everybody is above 90%, right? And it's okay. We need to tell the students that it's okay if you're not 90%. But if you're scoring 50-60% in a particular subject, at least you're understanding that
Yeah.
50-60% of the subject.
And I feel like it's very important to understand that you can't be 100% in everything, but neither can you be 50% in everything. You have your strengths, you need to work towards acing those strengths, and you have your weaknesses which you need to keep improving on.
Okay, so now when you have become so wise, right?
Wise old Panaya.
Right? So, but at that point of time, I know we had conversations where I used to tell, like, you know, you need to push in this thing.
Yeah.
And I also knew that as soon as that you got off the phone, you knew that I'm not doing this at all, right? Why do you think that such a strong no to something which is being advised to a newer generation? Like, why is this? And this is just a notion. It's not my view, but just a notion where I think your generation specifically think know this.
I'm not adamant towards learning, but I think it's individually different for every person there is.
Right.
Like, I have known since I was literally 5 years old that I never understood maths. She used to teach me at that point. You can ask her. It never stuck with me.
Right.
So I am very open to learning. I love learning about any and everything under the sun. But there are some things I know which are not meant for me. And while no learning goes as a waste of time, there are things I just don't want to do. About the newer generation, I just feel like we all always think we're always right. There's nobody else who's right. That's how we perceive ourselves. And we're like, we know more than others. But I feel like that applies to every generation. The generation after my sister and I is also going to say the same thing. Please don't teach us, we know. It just goes on. It's a cycle.
No, but I think our generation was never like that. We used to actually listen to our parents,
Okay.
because when we were growing up, we were, though I think there was a mix. There was a set of parents who said, "I'm not giving you any options. This is what you're doing."
But those set of parents are even today. And I feel bad for the kids. I'll be very honest. See, not every kid is same. Not every parent is same. Not every household atmosphere is same. See, there are a lot of variety in it. But still, you can't, if a child does not like something, and if you want a pressure, no, you have to do this, and this, because maybe it was your dream, or maybe because you are doing it. It's very unfair, because again, like she said, it's a fact. you live only once. You are a teen once. You're not married only once. You know, there are so many things. You're not responsible till a certain age, and you need to live everything, you know. So that is a very sad part, to be honest, you know, where you might say that, oh, my child is perfect, ye nahi, wo nahi, but you see a different picture of the child behind
The
the.
rest of the world sees a very different picture of the child. And to add on to my thing, what I was saying, I feel like Vipra and I have never felt that kind of restriction and have always felt open to learning. Like, up to a great extent, my mom used to say, study maths, study maths, study maths. It's important for you. But after a point, even she realized it's not my strength, it's important. But if my daughter is not going in that direction, she's not seeing herself over there and literally crying while doing it, it's better to let her do things she's good at.
Yes, but see, at the same point of time, the things that you're good at, you are already good at that,
Yeah.
right?
So-
you don't need to work any
Yeah.
harder.
So like
but
just mathematics, she never forced me. Business mathematics, she's forcing me to do.
right,
Like there's always another variant you can explore in the same thing. Like you don't need to be good at algebra or indices or matrices.
Precisely.
Yes, certain things I'm not
Those-
good. Yeah, that's what. She never told me to be good at all of that.
Right.
She'll tell me to be good at the other parts of it.
Okay. But now, Vipra, I want to bring you, like how Panaya is, no, you know, she was not like this and I've never been pressured. Well, did you feel any kind of pressure from Panaya?
From
Panaya?
Exactly. Because it's not, see, with I know for sure that when it comes to mom, you know how to manage things, right? But now I think the biggest challenge is with the second mom, which is Panaya. So do you feel, hey, listen, you're not about to say
I'm-
that,
okay,
right?
I'll
She
be
has to,
behind.
she has to speak her mind. Go ahead.
Personally speaking, I've never felt a lot of pressure from anybody actually, because we both see up to one extent. I think until 8th grade, I always like, I will be Panu Didi part 2. I'll be the one else. Like there have been instances where I've introduced myself as hi, I'm Panaya. So yeah, I've always been. I always wanted to be like her, but while trying to be like her, I always ensured that obviously I had my own interests so while doing so, when she used to say, oh, I don't like maths, maths is you, I used to say, yeah, even I don't like maths, maths is you. And eventually over the years I figured that no, I actually do like maths, and I just said it because I wanted to be like her. And going back to the pressure thing, no, I've never felt any pressure from her part, because like we've always been told to be your own person, and obviously our parents are always like, yeah, see, you do your best, and they will always give us the push. But with Panu Didi, she always helps me out. Like right now, 75 hard, I would not be able to do it without her. So she does not give me pressure, she gives me the push which I need. And I think that's how it is actually.
Those who don't know what is 75 hours, basically no sugar at all.
No sugar, no fried, no
Right.
maida, 2
Right.
workouts a day, read
Right.
10 pages, drink
1
water.
gallon of water.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. But see, this is what a mistake that a lot of elder siblings do. That they, because the younger sibling is so in awe of the elder one, unknowingly they start mentoring the younger
I
one.
didn't even know that she didn't like maths because I didn't like. I'm finding this out today.
See-
I remember when I came to you for the first time, that time both of you guys told me that you
Yeah.
do not have to choose the same subjects that
As
Panu Didi
Panaya.
chose.
Like,
And we don't
that-
have similar subject. Only English and business is similar with us.
And so
Yeah,
in
that is
8th
because
grade-
we told her no, because we had that. That is because we told her.
I don't know.
Yeah,
We don't discuss all
so
of
we
that.
decided the subject.
Subjects I wanted to choose in 8th grade, and then there was just one subject, either bio or either GP. And I was like, oh, Panu Didi chose GP, so I will choose GP. Then I was convinced out of GP and I chose bio.
See, and I think that's the difference when you enrolled with us when you were just got into 11th, and she enrolled right after 9th, and she like eight, sorry. Eighth.
That's the conversation I always have with her. You gave her more, me
Yeah,
less.
she enrolled.
But it all turned out.
So we could plan things.
And to top it up, I'll tell you, more than planning, you know, like a lot of people do say that, oh, 8th grade is not when they need. Yes, they don't need. But your child gets an opportunity to go out and talk to somebody who's more aware of all this than you, okay? And can get guidance. And see, like I told you, with you, it was more like I'm there for you and not a bias, like, oh, she will enter this university, I will post it, mera naam hoga aur log aayenge. No. At the end, we are dealing with kids. They are innocent. They actually don't know. There are a lot of times all of them do things which they don't know, they don't understand. And when as a parent you tell them, they might not understand. But somebody as an uncle, my girls rant out to you, I don't know about what all. I come to know later
I
on.
think I'm the as well such an uncle and tell them. When I got my learner's license also I told you.
Right?
That's true.
But that is called mentoring, right? At the end of the day, this is not like just a counselor business, okay? What we are looking at, mentoring them, which is not just now, like when you told me, oh, so now she's in a college, our journey ends. No, boss, where the journey ends? It's a long journey, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because
Like I'm the unofficial wedding planner
Yeah,
already
yeah,
that I've been told.
obviously.
This is. I'll tell you about this later. But
What?
okay, so now that brings like okay, it's important that parents start enrolling their kids.
early, by the 8th grade, I think your child is ready. The reason being because their mind is fickle. Oh, today I want to do this, tomorrow I want to do that. But there has to be something which is concrete in all this. Okay, so if she doesn't want to do this, I need a backup plan behind, right?
And do you think that the practical approach, because I think one of the way we designed it, and I think the one thing that really changed, especially in Panaya's case, is when she did that fete in school and she put her food stall, and these guys went there and they had put their food stall there, and then from there on, Panaya's interest in business and how I want to do this. Tell me more about that.
So we've done the food stall twice,
Huh.
and both the times our parents were traveling.
Mother especially.
Somehow it just happened like that. But so basically, our restaurant, Nanumal Bhojraj, we know everybody around us loves the Szechuan fried rice and Szechuan noodles. Best seller, sells like hotcakes. So those are the things we chose to have at our Diwali.
See, that's why I say
Diwali
perfect
fest.
businessman, because she's mentioned the name of the restaurant as well. So the promotion is going to happen. See, that's what I like about it. Go ahead, go ahead. And I will keep it. I promise I'll keep it. Go ahead.
So obviously, I
Yeah,
mean, like,
yeah,
that's
of course,
how
of
it
course,
works.
of course, of course.
right?
Yeah.
So basically, it was the two of us, and the first time we went and we did it, I was like, we have to make a lot of money. Okay, for me
Yeah.
that was the thing. I want to get out how much we had spent on the stall and everything. I wanted to take money back home. We started selling at one price. We saw it was going for the increase the price.
See, that's what
In
business is
middle-
all about.
In middle of the thing, I told my dad, like, this is not how it's done. You're not supposed to do it like this. You're cheating your customer. I was like, Appu, but we are making money out of it. We are
Right.
getting the money back, which is
Hmm.
what's important. But then he taught me that's not what
Yeah,
business
of
is all
course.
about. At the end of the day, it's about the customer and the service you're giving to
Right,
them,
right.
which is what is more important than anything.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, our restaurant was the name that everybody was saying, this is a stall everybody came back to. The
Right.
teachers came back over here. And my
Right.
dad is like, that's what's important. Money keeps coming, keeps going. That's
Right.
how it works.
Right.
And that is where I got inspired about business,
Right.
where it taught me about not just what business is, but I saw what business is
Right.
and how different people do business. Like some people just have a very mindset that we just want to make money, which
Right.
is what I went in with.
Right.
But what I came out with was the lesson and the learning that and in the end, what my father said to do, anything that is left over, distribute to the staff, the peons, everybody else, which is what we did. And the Thais and everybody, they were so happy. And I'm sure after that I got over, we used to get so much special
And this is
treatment
what
in
business
school.
studies and business
We got
management
so
is
much
all
special
about.
treatment
Yeah.
in school after giving that because the Thais are
Right.
And like
Yeah,
even
it
though
was.
the price was hiked up, like if you compared our prices to people selling not like proper food, like even like
Cookies and
bhel, and
all.
it was still more expensive than us. And at the end of the day, after we hiked our prices, people came up to us when we were shutting down the stall and they were like, the only thing people have come to our stall and spoken about is, oh my god, the food at this stall. And they thought it was reasonable pricing. They thought it could have been more expensive and we would have still paid for it.
Exactly.
So this is
So
such
the
a
second time when we went,
Huh.
the prices were high.
Yeah.
And this is such a practical learning where you understand, yeah, this is how the business is done. Like, okay, from a customer acquisition to,
And
their
I
reviews.
still remember, we had our 50th customer, we gave it to him for free. And then he
Yeah.
went and told other people.
Yeah.
So like, everybody was remembering, oh,
Right.
this is the brand, oh, this is the brand, come here, maybe at the 100th
Yeah.
one they'll get it. We
Yeah.
did not do
See,
that.
which is a strategy. Which
We
is
did
a
not
strategy.
do that,
see?
but that's how it
Ah,
worked.
Yeah. So see, so from there on, Panaya's mind was like, no, business is what I want to do. This
Yeah.
is interesting. This is whatever. But then there is one thing which I think was really lacking is when we pushed you towards better ranked top universities.
Right.
And you were very underconfident when it said, like when I was saying, okay, University of Bath, we will let's try City University of London. And
My whole life, what I was told is, you don't have maths, you're not going to get that ahead.
okay. And this was
Everybody
coming
told
from whom?
From like external counselors,
Right.
teachers in school. Like nobody told me like you're very good at business, that will help you. What they told me, you're bad at maths,
Right.
so you won't be able to get into these universities.
Right.
And I also did not know. I also listened to everybody around me, and I was like, oh, okay. Because of which I was very underconfident, and I was very influenced by like school friends and all of that. That whole like fun life.
Right.
That's
Right,
it.
right,
Without a balance
right.
of coming home and studying.
Right.
So I was also very like, yeah, it's fine. I won't get in. What's the big deal?
Right.
But then, thanks to you
Oh,
and your
right.
push and how much you like mentored me, told me it's not the end of the world.
Right.
Give it a try. If it doesn't work out, do something else. I did not try, but you made me stronger in my other things,
Right.
my other fortes, and you forced me to apply to a lot of these places, which I did get into.
Yeah.
And I feel like I remember the day I got. Okay, this is a very funny story.
Okay. Okay. I need to
So
know.
the day I got into University of Bath,
Right.
it was my best friend's birthday. I was at her place. We were staying over. That's the day we were going to Lonavala.
Okay.
Okay. So we woke up. We hadn't slept the whole night. We slept for maybe 2 hours at the max.
Right.
I woke up in the morning, and I saw that like
So
there is a mail from
Right.
that university, and that was the last one I was waiting on. I was
Right.
like, oh. I did not want to open it. It was
Right.
7 in the morning. Like the anticipation, I can still feel goosebumps when I talk about this. And when I opened it, I was in. And I was I was jumping around the house of parents. I was like, what happened? What happened? And I was like, I got into University of Bath. I called my mom. I was like, Mama, I got into Bath. She said, okay. I said, Mama, I got into Bath. She's like, okay, have a shower. I was like, not that, Mom. I got into University of Bath. And I did not think I was going to get in.
Right.
And my dad was 100% sure I was going to get. I don't know what.
Yeah.
He was like, you're definitely going. I was like, I'm not getting in because I'd gotten rejected from City University of London
Right.
and a lot of others for the
Right.
reason I did not have maths.
Right.
So I was like, I'm not getting in. And then got into a shower, came.
But see, that what brings me to more of a serious and a somewhat emotional topic as well. She got into the dream university, but sadly we were not able to send her to that university. Of course, she went to a university in India, which is again it's amongst the top as well. What went wrong, Jia? Like, where do you think is something that you would have done
Not
different?
ready, maybe.
Yeah.
Like
So
we told
elaborate
her-
on that. Yeah.
The more I started, when I always told her, yeah, after 12th for your undergrad, you're going out. Maybe that time I was talking from my dreams, okay? Like, oh, I never went out to study, so I want to send her. But when I started interacting with parents who had kids who were a year or two older than her, the kind of freedom, the kind of exposure where, how freedom, what it does to you, when it's like, oh, parents are not here, and you go berserk. I heard, if I spoke to 10 people, 8 kids had gone berserk, right? And I was like, somewhere there was that fear, okay, maybe that freedom, what it gives her berserkness, there was that fear, I'll be honest. And then obviously Naresh was not ready with the whole thing that I think that he was not ready really that time that I can send her out. And somewhere down the line I was very happy, I'll be very honest. The blame came on my husband, but inside I was very happy because today if you tell me now, and I'm sure now she will agree, the Panaya who was in the when she passed 12th and the Panaya she is today, she knows the balance, which is very important. Um, and I can't say that I doubt my upbringing. That's like the other question. Oh, you are not confident on your upbringing. No, that's not the case. But there is so much outside available that to lose your track and go out. So it's very easy, right? I mean, so somewhere, for every parent, it's like, okay, they're precious, we've got them up with so much of love and care. And I wanted her, that no, I wanted her more 3 years. I was not ready. I was not ready to part away from her.
So, what changed within those years? See, this conversation or this could have been done earlier also. Like you could have acknowledged it or at least shared that with the
I was
child.
not ready. Maybe I matured up, when like okay, ठीक है, देखेंगे देखेंगे. Maybe that was my attitude. I realized my mistake, to be very honest, okay, because it played a very big impact on her, okay, because we not applied anywhere in India. We were so sure that yeah, we are going out, but I don't regret it. I'll be very honest.
Yeah, of course. See, whatever happens, happens for good. And I think Indian education is at par with any education around the world. From an education standpoint, I don't question it. But where I'm coming from is, say, for example, when we tell a child, oh, this is what we're going to work hard for, and when the child finally achieves it, at that point of time, a conversation that could have happened a year back, and we could have gone for much better universities and pushed her in that courses in that particular direction in India as well.
See, I was also somewhere down the line, like telling you, see, I was also not aware that I will go through this phase one, and second, I wasn't aware that my husband wasn't even financially ready. See, if I knew both the ends came together, then I would have definitely sat down with her, right? See, he backing off also was at a last minute. Okay, it wasn't like he had a planned back off. Okay, it was a very last minute thing.
Do you think that conversation should have had with the child a little earlier, and whether the child would have understood that conversation at that point of time, at that age? What would you suggest?
I'll tell you why. Because I was the one who always told her, "Oh no, you're going." So there was a dream put in, right? So that time, 6 months back, if I would have sat down and spoken about it, it wouldn't have worked. Maybe it had to go the way it went, a little rough.
Very rough.
Yeah.
Don't dilute.
No. Very rough means I'm being very honest. Okay. So, but it wouldn't have helped 6 months back.
But what about you? What the impact that it had on you, one, and second, do you think it could have been handled differently?
So 6 months, I would have been prepared that I am applying in India. I would have had a plethora of courses which inclined completely with my interests, not subway. Like I like where I am. Everything happens for a reason, as you said. But yeah, that conversation, it would not have gone perfectly, obviously. But because I would have argued, cried a lot, fought a lot, I'm 100% sure of that. But at least it wouldn't have been 2 months before I have to go to college. I'm applying somewhere not knowing for the first week of, am I in college? Am I not in college?
Right.
There was a point I thought I was going without any education. I did not know what was going to happen, and that was not a nice feeling at all. It was too much pressure. Any conversation I would attempt to have always turned out into an argument, always turned out into a fight, which is not what I wanted, which is not the way I wanted it to be.
Right.
And it was really, really, really difficult because my mom and I are very hot-headed. So we end up fighting a lot then. And I didn't want a decision like this to affect my relationship with my parents.
Of course.
So yeah.
So do you think it should have been handled in a different way? And if yes, then what?
It should have been addressed earlier, number one.
Right.
Number two, I feel like dreams are always important to have, but without any action, there is no point of having it.
Right.
So like putting a dream in someone's head with a plan and a strategy of execution is important than just dreaming about it. Which is the mindset I follow in everything now.
See, that I agree. Like, I think we also counseled, and I think that's a conversation that we also earlier had.
See, my fear again in all this is she is a very stubborn person. If she takes it to herself, she will take it. So I also had a fear that if I speak to her, now, she might absolutely stop studying. That I'm not going.
I would not have done that definitely because
That
I
is
have
not today.
I have goals for myself, and also the Panaya who finished 12th is very similar to the Panaya now. The Panaya who was in 11th, she
Is
was
it the same? Are you
11th
saying-
and 12th is
Okay.
different. 11th, like, that's what I was saying in the start, that during my 11th, I was,
No, but is the Panaya in school and the Panaya in college the same?
no, she's different, but not up to a very big extent. I've just been exposed to a lot of different people now.
But that's what
that
experience
helps.
is.
That
Yeah, of
helps.
course, of
That
course.
helps, obviously. Like, I remember I finished my 11th standard with a C grade in my favorite subject. I regave it, again got a higher C. But in my 12th, I ended my the subject I'm talking
Right.
about is business studies.
Right.
I ended it with a 79B. I literally missed it because of my AS level marks.
Right.
And when the teacher saw the marks, she was like, I always knew you could do this. You wouldn't know you could do it. Because I had gotten close to full in both of those papers.
Right.
All my subjects, like in AS, in my accounts, I got a U.
Right.
I just passed when I gave it again.
Right.
And I ended it with E or something like that.
Right.
Obviously not perfect.
Right.
But the 12th grade Panaya had already started taking herself seriously. She
Okay.
knew that there were people believing in her. It's time she started doing it too. So,
Okay. So you said at least in 12th that conversation could have happened.
happened, 100%. It should have
Right.
happened.
Okay. And the Panaya that is now, which is wiser, of course.
Older wiser.
So now for the future and for your future and for all the other students or girls and especially girls who are in the 11th and 12th high school, like, and of course Vipra, like, what is the one thing about the journey that you would highlight and say, you know what, keep this in mind?
I would say that always be realistic, okay? Like you can have a business idea that is absolutely extraordinary, but if you don't have that drive to actually make it work, it's not going to work. It really, really isn't.
Okay.
Like, in like
Like, do you have an example?
for example, like I'm thinking of an example, like Vipra and I right now, we are thinking of starting something by ourselves, okay?
Right, okay.
Like something on the side, just for fun, learning
Right.
and everything. And we've been saying this for a very long time, we'll actually start. Yesterday, I'm not even kidding, is the first day we actually sat down, day before, sorry, and we did something towards it. So just saying something and actually working towards the execution. Same with workouts and everything. Just saying you want to look cleaner,
Yeah,
look fitter, be
yeah,
thinner,
right.
or gain more muscle.
Right.
Unless you work towards it, it's not going to actually
Right.
work. And also, like, for me, they've always told me dream big, okay, which is something you should always do.
Right.
But with dreaming big, you also need to be grounded. You
True.
can't just fly without coming down.
Right.
You need to come down at some point.
True. Now,
Does that answer your question?
yes, of course. I kind of understand that the kids have to dream big and have a plan.
Yeah. And also, what I learned in this whole thing is falling is not bad. It's fine to fall. You can get yourself back up.
Absolutely.
That's what humans are made for. That's what you
Yeah,
have your
yeah.
limbs for.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
I really, like, I've shed the most tears in my entire life in those 3 months.
Right.
I remember when I had gotten into NMIMS also at ITC over there, also for some reason, it did not get accepted. I was in my internship, I was crying in a cubicle. Like, what is happening in my life? Then I called my mother, she's also shouting at me. I was like, now who should I turn to?
Right.
I would turn to her, but she's also really
Of course,
small.
yeah.
I don't want to pressure her with any
Right,
of this.
right.
It's like, who should I turn to then? Like,
Yeah.
it was really, really, really,
Yeah.
really difficult.
Yeah, and I remember we had this conversation. I said, don't worry. Like, 0.1%, if this doesn't work, there will still be another one that is going to be waiting for
Yeah.
you. So, but
I
now,
was all prepared to take a gap year.
which was, I would have never suggested that.
And after all of this, my mom's like, if you want to take a gap year, that's fine. It was like all this time I have been saying I want to take it. You've told me no, and now all of a sudden you can take it. I was genuinely lost in those months. I was not understanding what is happening.
Gap year in her case did not make any sense, right? But Vipra, now you, right? There was a time in between that you were thinking, oh, I want to change school. And this is something that a lot of kids go through, a lot of kids, right? Tell me the reason why that thought came to your mind. And then later on, you were like, no, probably I'm fine with where I am.
So, firstly, I've always loved the school that I'm in. It's like the environment in the school is awesome, and I've grown up here, so I have that type of feeling for it. But when it comes to the level of exposure and education, like I had friends in other schools, right? And the way I saw them getting the exposure, education, and the variety of subjects that they had, I felt like if I had this, I think I would be able to understand what I wanted to be so much better. Because I remember when I joined you, I was like, yeah, I'm going to become an astrophysicist. And I've had variety of dreams like model, no, and now I'll become an actor, no, now I'll become an astronaut, but no, astronaut is too risky, so astrophysicist. And then I did not want to choose chem, so and eventually I realized that yeah, astrophysicist is not working out. So and then obviously business is always going to be my backup because we do have the restaurant. So I always am like yeah, business is always there for me. But basically I was like if I get to see all these subjects, if I get to learn about it, that's how I know whether I want to do it or not. And I mainly realized that I wanted to switch schools by 8th grade term 2 when I realized, so they were teaching us commerce like one or two chapters before we chose them. And I was like wow, if I get to see all of this, then imagine like these were just 3 subjects. If I had like 17-20 subjects that I could know basics of, I would be able to know what like so much more in what I wanted to do. So I was like yeah, I want to switch schools. But eventually I realized that you know it's not important. I knew what I wanted to do. I didn't need the exposure to understand what I wanted to do. Like I knew I wanted maths, I knew I wanted physics, and I knew I wanted business. Now if anything comes with that, then it comes with that. Like English, if I don't have English, it's fine. I know how to talk, I know how to converse with someone.
I like what is there on the other plate, but then later on realizing, no, what I have on my plate is good enough.
Pretty full, and if I take that plate, then I won't be able to finish it for sure. So just stick with the ones that I have. And currently, I'm very happy that I am in MRV. To be very honest, I thought that yeah, I should apply somewhere else as well. But then I figured that not really, like I don't have to go to other schools to realize what I want to do because now I know what I want to do. I'm very happy with my choice and I don't want to change it at all. Like I'm very excited like for this whole next 2 years. And as much as up till 10th grade also I used to be like shit maths. But now like it is definitely tough still for me. Like when I go to classes, I see everybody else around me and they're like able to answer in 2 seconds and they do mental math so fast. Like so it's like yeah, do 315 divided by 2 for example. I will have to take out the calci and calculate it, but it's okay. Like right now I figured that as long as I am understanding, it's okay. Like now I can even answer in classes. I take a deeper interest into all of this, and I like first I was like yeah, I'll just write it, but now I actually feel excited to do it. So I mean before I was just like yeah, I should switch school, so now I know what to do. But now I feel like everything goes, everything works out and everything happens for a reason.
Okay, so tell me how then the excitement for this particular profession, right? So with the whole career advising and then eventually said, why don't you try this? And then you went and tried the aviation thing. How did that change or introduce or it made you feel that, okay, this is probably something I want to do?
I mein, I've always been interested in like things flying. More than flying is
Astrophysics. I mean, come on.
no, like astrophysics is different. Like when I thought about astrophysics, more than like the aeronautics thing, I was more interested in studying the stars. Then I realized, no, it's okay. There are too many stars. Someone or the other will work on those. It's okay. But then, and see, astronaut was always something that I wanted to do. But then I heard stories and I was like, yeah, no, it's okay. I don't want to be an astronaut.
precious.
But then, like when like you suggested pilot, I was like, okay, yes. You know what? I'll look at it. Then we went for the simulation over that, and I was like, this is cool. And that time he told me, oh, you need bearings, and you need maths, and you need physics. And I was like, forget maths and physics. I will fly. All I have to do is take off the plane, autopilot, land the plane. That was my mindset. I will figure it all out later, but I know I want to become a pilot. And then, like when I get time in between, yeah, I will. I obviously want to do modeling. It's something that I have always seen, and I always know that whether or not I do it once or I get many opportunities in my life, I will do it. So I know my main career now, and I will definitely work towards it. I have a backup, and I know that is my safety net. It's not going to break at all. So then, why not just and it's something that nobody's heard before. If I go up to someone and I'll tell them, yeah, I want to become a pilot, and it's like, wow, this is such an interesting subject. And now because I do eco as well, I was like, yeah, I look at the market, and I'm like, so pilot set, like pilot the for sure, no problems also in pilot.
So I think it's important that you bring this topic, that you bring this point that having a safety net which basically makes sure that you can follow other passions also.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Right? So at least when it's the safety net is there, the education that you're going to spend so much money on is going to pay you well, that all of that, and so you don't have to worry about, oh, how my future is going to be.
And also to add on to that, with the safety net, once you grow up, you always need multiple streams of income. You can't just be set on one thing.
That's the businesswoman talking right there. Like you're flying her jet planes, you know this, right? This conversation we had. Like she's the one buying the plane and you're the one flying the plane. Right? So, okay. Now
She'll pay you through her nose, though.
Don't worry.
I mean, eventually I'll be the ones buying the plane, flying the plane, and she'll be sitting in it. That's it. That's the point.
so then the parents will be doing the world tour. We guys are like
Like the parents will sit in this place, that place. Oh, we'll go to this bungalow here and then do that bungalow over there. That's the goal.
how important do you think that financial literacy is now, especially for high school or school kids?
So I have never been interested in accounts. So even in 8th grade, I was like, whatever I do, I'm not choosing accounts. I chose business, I chose eco, but not accounts. Same thing, and then I saw what happened with her. And obviously, even though she never really opened up to me about it at that point, because I get it. It was my 9th grade. I was about to go to 10th grade. And then there's this new thing that, oh shit, what if? And ever since then, obviously, even if I never said it out loud, there were things that I wanted, and I'm like, whether or not I have to do this on my own, or I will ask my parents or my sister about it, I will get it. So when it comes to my sister and I wanting to start something, whatever I would earn out of it, I would definitely save some part for it, for my college fund that I start for my own. And even though you can't save up for your college at this age completely, but very recently I saved up enough money, and I know I've put I've invested in myself, and I'm so proud of myself for that. Because as much as I want to go out and I want to buy this and I want to buy that, and for me, I'm this very impulse spender.
Same.
Is this cool? At the windmill, I was walking, I saw a windmill. Wow, this is cool. I haggled the price down and I bought it.
We went to a stationery shop the other day. We saw a bubble machine. We got the bubble machine. We were very impulse buyers like that.
And I just see funny things. I'm like, I need this.
Yeah, but they are very funny impulse buyers. They're
Yeah,
not
yeah.
stupid or
Not
something.
stupid or anything.
Sometimes that's where it all starts, because you tend to build that habit, And
No, it's not like a habit. We know
Yeah,
when
yeah,
to
we
stop.
know
It's
see, that is
But,
because of
like,
the upbringing.
our idea behind spending is always have so much money that you can spend on whatever you want. You don't need to think so much.
Right.
Like that is what even I have. Like I always want to have so much money that I can spend on whatever I want without thinking twice over it.
But
That's how rich I want to be.
But okay, but that's what you can say now at this age, right? But do you think kids or your friends of the same age, if the parents actually sit down with you and explain finances and their financial position, how are they doing financially?
we like
Do you think that they will understand, or it's
My kids have always
My
understood.
question.
we always
My
no, that's what I'm
question.
saying. The
I know
So,
about these ones,
guys,
but I
it's a
know-
plus question.
I want to
Exactly.
know how well the friends know.
So, I like, when it comes to my friends, I've always seen, I have a variety. Like, one person has, the sister's abroad, she's aiming to go abroad, and like the family's been not very open, but like they've always been like, you will go abroad. I will make sure of that. Then there are these other friends who, like, obviously their parents are open, but it's like too open, and I've seen them get hurt because of it. And then and I don't have like those many people that I'm open about, like when it comes to their financial literacy type things, like when their parents sit down and talk to them. I've very few people I've spoken this to about, like, but I feel like up to some extent, if a parent goes up to a child, makes them sit down and explain it, it should not be in such a way that it stresses them out.
out.
So I feel like when I saw this happening with her, there's still a big part of me which is stressed out, and I feel like it's very valid, and I think it's also
Important.
yeah, it's very important also to know.
Can I just add one thing to that? Because when you are aware of like what is happening around you, you tend to know that I need to build a life for myself in a certain
Yeah.
way. When
But-
you are very free about these things, then you don't have any ambition, any motive. I think it's very important to have that.
But see, that's what life is, no? भाई जब आपके साथ ये बातें होंगी, obviously आपको stress आएगा.
Yeah, like I always tell this one thing: if you don't tell a person, how will they know? You're not going to dream about it. You need to have.
But I'll
this
tell you the difference in
conversation.
our upbringing, right? We were never taught to be happy with money or be asked, oh, for this to do this in life, you will need money. They never told us
I didn't
anything like that.
understand.
So, for example, today, if you guys have to study abroad, or if you guys have to study at all anything or any kind of profession, you would be told, no, this is going to be cost like this. This is what is
Oh yeah,
what
you
you
won't
need to
make
do.
enough money in
Right.
this.
But when we guys were growing up, our parents never discussed money at all. In fact,
But that's also because our times the education was much cheaper compared to what it is now.
Everything was
Like
cheaper.
where our times we had counselors, okay? We never had, like I told you, we had streams, okay. If your parents have that kind of exposure, your child went abroad, right, to study. If the parents were narrow, we had girls' school, we had co-ed school, we had boys' school, right? See, our times were only different, Like, I remember my father tells me, you used to study 820 rupees a year.
What?
Yeah. That was the fees, which is a fact, right? So, those things have changed, and, let's be honest, even in today's time, it is the rich are getting richer. But, right?
I agree with you. And see, with the change of time, that's what brings me to this topic of AI, which I think is interpreted in such different ways by every individual. And the biggest problem is that I usually see between parents and the kids. The kids think, oh, let me put it the other way. Parents say the kids are dependent on AI completely. Oh, they are using AI for everything. Whereas the kids say, no, it's not us. It's actually the parents who are using AI more than what we do. And that's why
And
they are getting
believe
it
in
wrong.
AI more.
And believe in it. And that's
Like, I feel like over here when we start this conversation, one person's gonna have a different view and both of us are gonna have pretty similar views. But what I've seen at the end of the day is I feel like the older generation also is not able to differentiate that well. Obviously, AI has gotten better over the past few months, also, if you think about it. I mean, it's harder to depict what is AI or not, but it's getting even harder for the older generations. So, they feel there is this vulnerability that's come in them. And I feel like if, like, my even like our parents, okay, up to some extent, they have sent us AI, and we've had to message, oh, this is
not
it.
AI.
This
But
is this is not real. This is AI. And like, even when it comes to like, if they send us reels and it's important, my sister and I have a habit of checking the comments. I feel like all younger generations have a habit of checking the comments, because I feel like these days anybody will say anything. And there are so many times I have to say, please read the comments.
because it's not real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And like my mom will still send like funny reels, cute reels. My dad will send a lot of educational stuff.
Right.
So after a point, we open Instagram as a break. So like you're not watching the reels, the post, then he'll send it on WhatsApp. This is important.
what is-
Please just see this one. It's okay.
But do you think it is creating a divide, especially amongst the parents and kids, some of them? Because I have seen kids taking emotional advices from ChatGPT, and just because
Not just
ChatGPT
kids,
is
even adults. I have
even
seen
adults.
a lot of people.
But see, the difference is where I think to some extent, because the kid's mind is young,
No, it is the emotional availability from both the sides. Like tomorrow, we all go through emotions. Age doesn't matter, right? But like, if I have, like, if I am emotional and I have my kids available for me, I don't need a third person. I'll go to them. The same way for kids.
I can go to Vipra for everything.
Same here
Like-
with me. I can go to her for everything.
Like-
the use of AI and how the kind of use that is there for the students, we think that it is for the emotional support, but is actually just exploring and experimenting with AI.
So I've seen about like the app, and I wanted to explore it more. So as it had variety of things, okay, like for some people it was emotional support, for some people it was like actual education. So for me, I know like I have these ideas, but I know I'm never able to execute them that well. There are, yeah, obviously there's some ideas which I can execute well, but then mainly there are a lot of story ideas which I'm like, this will be so good, but I'm not able to execute it that well, because first of all, I don't like writing stories, and second of all, it's like it's so boring. Like for me, I would rather like do like worksheets instead of an essay or a story, right? So I tested out the AI app, and I felt like it gave me ideas. Obviously, I never actually went to AI for emotional support, because I have my parents, I have my sister, and for me, I've always been open with them. So it's never really for emotional support. And the same thing, like my friend and I, whenever we're bored, whenever we used to be bored, we used to be like, okay, so this is a funny plot line, and the plot lines are very funny. It's like, oh, we'll name a teacher Applebaum, and that's the type of stories that we create.
I remember reading that story.
I didn't read it. You never showed me.
Show it to you.
But okay, now I think one of the strongest part, and all credit goes to Jia, I think, and I see this all the time, and that's the reason I remember the first time in Panaskis when she was done, I said, Jia, I want to interview you, and Jia said, no, Sachin, I want to take more time. I want the whole process.
For me, yeah, the process and the experience, see, there's no point giving an interview which is half-hearted, or I'm just saying it because here I'm in front of the camera. Like I told you, like for me, it was very emotional when she got in college and he messages me, oh, so now we are done. I'm like, dude, what done? Now she's going to go for a post-graduation. Tomorrow, when they want to get married, I might call you, hello, listen, you have to see hotels also. I need your suggestion. You've been so much part of their journey that you have to be now next part of the journey also. This is not done. So
Of course. I take that back. I completely take that back. Yes.
I'm telling you, for us, I'm very openly telling you, that time I said a no because I had to go through the process, where, we fickled and we changed our mind. She didn't go. Still, you made sure she gets through the best. There's so much that was going around. And you were there. Even when, with the little, where I got stuck with the medical emergency, you were there for kids, you spoke to them. And see, when you're talking, this is all that matters, like I told you, this counts, like the counselor, they just look at the picture that, okay, this is the career. But career, they are still young, they have a mind that can change. This is not just career counseling. I'm sure not just my two girls, but there must be so many coming to you. Oh, sir, this happened. Oh, uncle, this happened. Right? And have to give them the right suggestion. So it's a big, I wanted to go through the process in order to sit here and tell you that no, and I'm very grateful that they have you as a counselor, not anybody else. And
Agreed.
when my kids have a counselor, so they will take those few big names. I'm like, you can keep them for yourself. I'm telling you, trust me. I'm happy where I am because my kids are getting counseled in a practical way. Like she told you, we are not using any of those math theories. I till date have never used them anywhere. I'm using the counting numbers which are used in day-to-day life. So is this learning process for them. Something which they are gonna use. These are experiences. Like, I'm very sorry she went through that, what she went through after her 12th, but I'm sure it's made her more wiser and it has helped her also. And like I always tell them, see, yes, we are parents, but we do make mistakes. We can't be perfect. We also go through,
They're also parents for the first time.
so a lot of things, so none of us can be perfect, right? Like for them also, I tell them, see, you'll fall in any way,
But she wants our room to be perfect.
Yeah.
which I never. But like I tell them, whenever you will fall or you will be in a problem, you'll always find me and your father for you, always. But remember one thing, what you decide to fall from. The physical pain will be yours. The emotional pain will be yours. We'll be there to support, be there. But the suffering will solely belong to you. So choose what you're doing and why you want the suffering and how. We'll always be there. We'll take you, we'll take care, everything. Wherever you will fall, we'll be there. But remember, that thing will belong to you. So then you have to understand that, right?
Anything you want to say to Chair?
I mean, like, I'm super, super grateful for the person I am today and the person I am becoming. Like, I am extremely grateful to both my parents. Like, my mom has always pushed me to do really well in school, and my dad has always been the one who will say, "You're doing better than I ever did. I'm very proud of you." And and they both recognize my strengths, acknowledge all of that, and they're proud of me on an everyday basis, because of which Vitra and I are who we are today. Like we were having a discussion earlier about like alcohol and all of that. In my generation, it's so easily accessible. Make a fake ID. Even Vitra and I have one to go to movies, go to clubs, and all of that. But the whole thing comes with exposure. That Nana has a wine shop. We've always seen alcohol, all parties, everywhere. Never once sneaked alcohol, attempted to drink it without permission. Why? You wanted, just ask it. Our parents have one rule in life, which both of us are, we will never break it, and we are very scared also of what will happen if we do. Whatever you do in life should come to us first. No third person ever should come and tell us your daughter did this. With anything under the goddamn sun, like anything. They want to know from our mouths before anybody else can come and tell them.
Then they'll be grounded. And they'll be royally grounded. Tell them I'll get you married. I don't care the age.
Oh my
We
gosh.
just have one rule in our life, just one rule. Whatever you do, tell us first. Like, yeah. I'll give examples later, not on camera. Yeah.
Well, on that lighter note, thank you so much, guys, and especially personally, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
making me a part of your life.
It's the pleasure. I think the blessing is all ours.
To know your family and to be a part of it, it's amazing. Thank
Be
you
a
so
part
much.
of
Thank
everything
you.
for us.
Thanks so much.
I know.
Thank you